Lascan Corla, Taoiseach, ministers, fellow deputies. I did not imagine that my maiden speech to this House would be on a matter of such importance to this country. So my apologies if my words today do not do the gravity of the situation justice. I stand here, like many of you, as a newly elected representative to Dáil Éireann, elected at a time of unprecedented difficulty for this country and from a desire from the people for a new direction in Irish public life. I've been trying to figure out what that means for me now and for all of us as public representatives in this time. I've been trying to understand the expectations that people have. And then the findings of the Moriarty Tribunal were published. I have waded through the report. I have looked at the background documentation. It doesn't paint a pretty picture. Crony capitalism, improper influence, a lack of accountability, low standards in high places. It's not what public service is meant to be about. That's not why we were chosen to be here. And the recent election can be understood as a direct reaction to the kinds of practices described in this report. We can't erase the contents of it or the actual failings that it catalogues, and we shouldn't try to. There are important lessons here for all of us. We have to make sure that we take those lessons with us beyond this debate. I wish to commend the Taoiseach's swift reaction to the publication of this report. In the forwarding of the report to the DPP and the Garda Commissioner, in the Taoiseach's clear direction of the recommendations emanating from the Tribunal's inquiries, in the prompt scheduling of this important debate and the time given to us in this chamber, in the Taoiseach's statement on the matter yesterday, and in the 10 key commitments to transparency and reform contained within that statement, which are also contained within the programme for government, and include the commitments that were recently outlined by Minister Rabbitte in this chamber. We must extend the principles of open government and honest government throughout the corridors of power. We act for the people, and they have a right to know what we do on their behalf and how we do it. I believe that open government is good government, and that is one of the reasons that I stood in the recent election. With the commitments given by the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach, we make a proper start in that direction. Of course, there is more that we can do. It was brought to my attention on the weekend that Ireland still has not ratified the UN Convention Against Corruption. We are state signatories, but not states parties. When our country is under such scrutiny internationally, our failure to ratify and become full states parties to such an important convention is embarrassing, and it might be seen by others as a lack of proper support for such standards on our part. We must move to rectify this immediately. It is also time that measures under Article 12 of the Council of Europe Criminal Law Convention on Corruption relating to trading and influence are transposed into Irish domestic law. We are duty-bound to do so under our international commitments, but we are compelled to do so from the recent election and the necessity to find proper measures against white-collar crime in this country. To protect the objectivity and the integrity of the civil service, we need to adopt similar practices here as in the UK, whereby a senior civil servant can formally and on public record request written ministerial direction when he or she disagrees with a minister's decision so strongly they refuse to be accountable for it. Such occasions would likely be rare, but would serve to indicate to the public where political considerations of the minister in charge might be contrary to the best interests of the state. And finally, it may also be prudent for us, as elected members to this House and thus sharing a collective responsibility to the people of Ireland, to examine whether or not a mechanism may be necessary to allow this House to expel one of its own. We have heard from the Taoiseach this morning that this will require a change to the Constitution. That should be explored. Thank you.